in the sign of Pisces is very sensitive, it's psychic, it's intuitive, it's emotional. So this lunation is going to feel very emotional for some of us. Ones are already emotional events. This one is going to feel extra emotional because of its placement in a very watery sign, and also because it is in the last sign of the zodiac. Pisces is the 12th house of the zodiac. This is where things come to end and die. Pisces is a mature and wise sign. Pisces has traveled all the signs of the zodiac. He holds a lot of wisdom and a lot of insight and information. And this is why some Pisces people get so overwhelmed with the energy of the world that they want to escape. This is because they hold the karma of the 12 signs. Pisces knows exactly what you did in each sign because he's traveled each sign. And this is the culmination. This is the ending. Before we jump into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, and begin anew. This is a rebirth of sorts. We have to leave our old life behind in order to restart our life in Aries. The transiting nodes are going to be moving into Pisces next year, sometime in January. And the reason why this lunation is very karmic is because 12th house also stores our generational karma. And this is karma that we did not make. This is karma that is passed down to us from generation to generation through our ancestors. So some of us are paying for the sins of our fathers. This lunation is going to highlight all the karmic contracts that we have with other people. And this is time for those debts to be paid. So some of us will be ending major stages in our lives. And if you're that person who has taken from other people, this is when the universe is going to correct that karma. You're going to have to pay back. Most of us had major new starts at the time of the solar eclipse. That happened in 2007. Specifically for me, the one that happened in March 2007. Because 2 weeks later, I met the man that I was going to marry and literally got married 2 months later. So that was a major new beginning for me. It was a new life. And here I am, 18 and a half years, almost 18 and a half years later. I'm still dealing with some inheritance issues that are most likely going to be settled within the Pisces Virgo axis eclipses. Essentially, somebody is closing up karma here of something that was denied, but found out about it almost 13 years later. And now that 8th house issue is going to be settled. Jupiter is transiting my 8th house of other people's money, inheritances, windfalls, and such. This is something that a Scorpio rising or perhaps even a Sagittarius rising could be going through. As a Scorpio rising, Pisces is my 5th house. So that lunation happened in my house of good luck karma. I'm a good luck from the past life. My husband felt like a lucky blessing. Eclipses are karmic portals or gateways for people to enter into our life. This is also an exit. So a lot of people do tend to transition at the time of eclipses. And we do tend to meet people who are fated, like soulmates, or people who are just going to make a really huge difference in our life. Eclipses can also shake up the energy if things have been stagnant. If you were thinking you were never going to get married because you haven't met the one, an eclipse could fasten the energy and bring you your soulmate. If you were thinking you were not going to be able to move, to a foreign country, an eclipse can also push things forward and make that move possible. Eclipses deliver what is promised in the natal chart. Another reason why this lunar eclipse is going to be life-changing and life-transforming and making massive endings happening on the 17th. 1/7 adds up to 8. And why is 8 important? Looking at numerology, we are in a year 8. The 2024 adds up to 8. This is the point of the year where there will be that death and transformation and renewal. So all you people that have life path number 8 or 8 important in your numerology, this is the moment that the death and transformation takes place. I'm going to encourage you to listen to the entire introduction of this video because this is where I go over the aspects that are happening at the time of the lunation. This is also the part where I go over personal experiences or stories. So if you want to make sense of it all, don't miss this part. Hello YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. If you're new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed, please do me a favor and subscribe. It's absolutely free and it really helps my channel grow. I'd like to say a big thank you and a welcome to all my new subscribers and all the people that leave me a comment on all my videos. I really appreciate that. When you comment, like my video and subscribe to my channel, it lets the YouTube algorithm know that you're enjoying my content, you love my content. Algorithm is going to recommend my channel to other people who love astrology just like yourself. So please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. I'd also like to say a big thank you to all the people that booked readings with me. My schedule is now booked until mid-November. I have very few limited spots available for bookings. So if you'd like to book me and you go on my website and you can't find a convenient time because perhaps you're in a different time zone or you work very late, or perhaps you need an emergency reading right away, I'm going to suggest that you email me so that I can squeeze you in or add you to my waiting list. I always give priority to my clients, and this is why I do my videos a bit late. I'm still doing the competition for a free solar return chart reading with me, and all you have to do to enter the contest is subscribe to my channel. You must be subscribed. Comment below saying free solar and subscribed. And if you're one of those people that has already commented on my past videos, I'm going to encourage you to keep commenting. Make me notice you. I choose 3 lucky winners every month. This is really a sacrifice for me now, considering that I'm very busy and pretty much booked up until mid-November. So you'll be very lucky if you win a free reading with me. I'm going to be discussing how the partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces is going to affect you according to your ascendant sign. And I'm also going to discuss what your ruling planet is doing at the time of the event. I'm a Western tropical astrologer, so I use the whole sign system when I'm reading for YouTube. When I do my personal readings, I use the Placidus system because I find that to be much more exact. So listen to all 3, your sun sign and your moon sign, especially because this is a lunar event. So to benefit the most, listen to the introduction and all 3 placements. So who's going to be affected the most by this lunar eclipse? It's the mutable signs. The mutable signs are Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Virgo. Virgo and Pisces are going to be affected the most because the lunation is happening in your signs. And Gemini and Sagittarius are going to feel this intensely because you're going to be squared by this lunation and you're going to be pushed into taking action. The earth signs and the water signs are going to have a better experience with this lunar eclipse simply because the earth signs are going to have a trine aspect to the sun in Virgo, and the water signs are also going to have a trine aspect to the moon in the sign of Pisces. So this is positive and beneficial energy. It's in the earth sign that there is stability, grounding, and takeoff. If you were born on or around the 17th of September, you're going to be highly impacted by this solar eclipse. You're going to have this energy embedded in your solar return chart. This is going to be a year of massive endings and beginnings. This is a year that you're going to remember for a very long time to come. I'm going to recommend that you book a reading with me so that we can find out where this energy is falling in your solar return chart, which houses are being impacted, where should you put your focus. Book me at rachel-mayo.com. The partial lunar eclipse in Pisces is happening at 25 degrees of Pisces. The event is going to occur on the 17th of September at 7:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're checking the time for your own location and in order to get the correct ascendant. This is a partial lunar eclipse because the lunar nodes are still transiting the sign of Aries. However, it's still considered an eclipse because this lunation is about 10 degrees away from the lunar nodes. And that's what we need in order for a lunation to be considered an eclipse. This lunar eclipse is still packing a punch. It is a full moon on steroids. It has the energy of about 6 full moons. So do not underestimate it. And what makes it even more powerful are all the other aspects happening at the time of this lunation. The lunar nodes come to the same exact spot they were after every 18.5 years. The last time we had eclipses in the Virgo-Pisces axis was in 2016, with the North Node in the sign of Virgo. That was around the time of the elections in America, and we all saw who came into power. And that was with the North Node in the sign of Virgo, very close to the royal fixed star Regulus, and we all know who came into power. Now the tables have turned because we now have the North Node in the sign of Pisces. And here we are again with the nodes reversed. Perhaps we need to course correct. Is the universe giving us an opportunity to do things differently this time? A reversal of our choices, a reversal of who's going to be in power, and a reversal in circumstances in our life. So let's go back to the last time when we had these eclipses with the North Node in the sign of Pisces. Those eclipses happened between 2006 and 2008. In that period, there was a balance of solar eclipses and lunar eclipses. In this series, we only have lunar eclipses. This is emphasizing endings, massive endings in our life. There's the list of the eclipses that occurred in that period. You can take a screenshot of it for reference. I'm going to specifically focus on a solar eclipse that happened in March because I found that to be most life-changing for myself and my clients. And if you'd like to verify that, just watch my previous videos. You're going to see in the comments that a lot of people had a major life transformation in 2007. People got married, people moved, people got pregnant and had babies. People's public statuses changed through marriage promotions. It was a year for major new beginnings. It was also a major new beginning for America because I believe in that period we elected the first Black president. So there was a major new beginning, a new era essentially for the world. And this is why I titled my video A New Life, because for most of us, we're going to be concluding those chapters, the things that we started at the time of those eclipses. Whatever those eclipses brought in, those things are up for a review. Some of those things are going to be ending. Some of those things that we started, the things that we achieved are coming to a culmination point, a point of redirection, tables turning, or perhaps an absolute end. You're not going to have all these things happen on the day of the eclipse. These endings and culminations or new beginnings are going to evolve over the next 6 months. At the time of this eclipse, you will have an idea what's ending. It's not going to be a surprise. The moon takes a while before it becomes full. Just like a pregnant woman starts showing at around 3-4 months, you see the full belly as the months progress. And when something ends as a result of an eclipse, it means that you must let it go. There's no reconciliation here. It's being removed out of your life for the purpose of your growth, for the purpose of evolution. So do not cry, negotiate, beg, or any of those things. Just keep your dignity and accept the new energy, because when something leaves your life, it's making space for something that is much better for you. Perhaps the karma has ended with this situation or with that person. There must be a space, a vacuum, in order for new energy and new karma to come in. Unfortunately, nothing lasts forever. But the good news here is this is a North Node eclipse. With the node being in Aries, it's just showing you the type of energy that you should use. Going for it and not procrastinating. So this lunar eclipse will eclipse something out of your life. It's also going to bring in something in your life. And I know it doesn't feel good when we lose something or something that we value is taken out and we want to still hold on to it. Life is about learning lessons, balancing karma, paying back karma, receiving karma, and moving forward when that karma is done or resolved. Another really important transit that's happening before this lunation is Mars is going to square the nodes. And when a planet squares the nodes, it's called a skipped step. We forgot to do something perhaps earlier before in this lifetime or perhaps in the previous lifetimes. What makes this aspect really important is the fact that Mars is the ruler of the transiting North Node, the direction of our destiny, where we must go in order to evolve. So Mars is sending a really big message here. And remember, Mars is going to be transiting this sign, the sign of Cancer, for about 6 months, but it's going to feel like 9 or 8 months simply because Mars is going to go into the sign of Leo and then regress into the sign of Cancer. So Mars has an extended stay here. Mars has a mission to accomplish. Mars is giving us a chance to jump on the right direction, right message at the time of this eclipse. A square aspect is a challenging aspect in astrology. So this means that some of us are going to be pushed into taking action with something to do in our Cancer house. The tables are turning. Karma is changing direction. It's time to switch lanes and course correct. The lunar eclipses in the sign of Pisces are going to open a window to the other side. You're probably already having really crazy dreams. It's almost like we're being given access to the other side, the spiritual world, the alien world. We will probably have physical, actual contact to other worlds by the time the lunar nodes move out of the Pisces Virgo axis. This axis deals with how we take care of ourselves, and this axis deals with how we take care of ourselves. This axis deals, the Pisces Virgo axis deals with rest and recuperation, healing, and also the ways that we self-sabotage ourselves through bad habits like drinking too much, having illicit affairs, or just doing the things that you know are really not good for you behind the scenes. On the opposite side, we have the house of Virgo, the sixth house of the zodiac. This deals with our health, our day-to-day routine, our exercise regimen, our diet. This is the house that will show you the results of how you self-sabotage. It will show you by exposing your enemies. Our health declines here as a result of our self-sabotaging habits. This is the area where disease is exposed and we have to deal with it. As a people, we're going to be dealing with something to do with health issues, healing and medicine. And perhaps ending certain addictions. Perhaps there'll be some type of medicine, or new treatment that people can take to deal or heal their addictions. This lunation is going to expose deceptions in our relationship with others, where large masses of people have been deceived in some way. Perhaps it has to do with something with medicine, healing, and health. All those deceptions are going to come out. Personally, we may have to take off the pink glasses and see things as they really are. No more delusions and illusions, whether it's self-delusion or we're intentionally being deceived by others. A lot of aspects are happening at the same time. This is an eclipse that keeps giving and keeps. Jupiter at 20 degrees of Gemini is in trine with Venus, who's currently transiting her own sign at 20 degrees of Libra. She's dominant in this sign. Libra is the sign that is hosting the transiting south node. This is the area that's bringing in blessings from the past, from a past life. But this is also the area where we have to do some letting go. It's fortunate that Jupiter is making this really positive and harmonious trine to Venus. Aspect is baked into this lunar eclipse. I'm going to recommend that you watch my previous video on the Venus-Jupiter trine in order to understand just how important this transit is. It's impossible for me to fit in and explain explain down to detail every aspect of this lunation. So watch that video. It's really going to help you put everything together. Another reason why there are major karmic endings at the time of this lunation is simply because we have Neptune transiting the sign of Pisces, a sign that he rules. Neptune is not coming back to this sign for another 165 years. Neptune is also here to make major endings and conclude karmas in this house. On the other hand, we have Saturn who's transiting this house. Saturn takes about 29 years to go around the zodiac. So Saturn has also collected what you did in all the other signs, and he's in the last sign of the zodiac to deliver karma and endings. The world is going to be a different place when Saturn and Neptune enter the sign of Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. The whole world is going to be starting a major brand new path, new karma, a new direction, a new life. The best way to understand how this lunation is going to affect you according to your own natal birth chart is to book a reading with me, because there's just way too many aspects going on at the same time, and they're going to affect us individually in a different way. Let's look at the chart of the lunar eclipse. The eclipse is happening in Pisces, so let's look at the sign of Pisces. The moon is at 25-40 degrees of Pisces, opposing the sun in the sign of Virgo at the same degree. This is the definition of a full moon. What makes it a lunar eclipse, the transiting north node is about 10 degrees away in the sign of Aries, making this a north node lunar eclipse, an eclipse that's bringing something totally brand new into our life. The sun and the moon are both square Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of this lunation. However, Jupiter is in detriment, so he cannot really give solid instructions at the time of this lunation. The square aspect is a challenging aspect. It pushes us into taking action. Jupiter being in detriment in the sign of Gemini is not really sure what type of action to take because he's too busy in an area where he's uncomfortable and he's looking at the details in the sign of Gemini ruled by Mercury. So Jupiter is essentially looking to Mercury to give the direction or instructions of what to do at the time of this lunation. One of the main aspects of this lunation is the opposition of Mercury to Saturn. Mercury is currently transiting Virgo. He's dominant in this sign because he rules this sign. Virgo is all about the details, the important and relevant details. So Mercury has already gathered that information. We're getting an opposition from Saturn, who's transiting retrograde in the sign of Pisces, also sorting out karma. We're probably getting a no or some type of restriction as a result of this opposition. This can be disappointing news. upsetting situations, perhaps even breakups or disagreements in business or disagreements in business partnerships. All depends on what houses these are in your own natal birth chart. So we're all going to be faced with having to make some really tough decisions at the time of this lunar eclipse. Mercury is powerful here because this is the sign that he rules. So it's going to be a give and take here between sorting the information that we have, finding what is really useful, and also using our intuition, because on the opposite side where the moon is, it's a very intuitive placement for the moon. Other ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is transiting his sign, so he's also very powerful in the sign. The moon is essentially conjunct Neptune. Neptune is a planet that dissolves whatever it touches. So we're going to be feeling a little bit emotionally uncomfortable and not knowing which direction to take when we're under pressure. We're going to be confused about what is real and what is not. There's a level of illusion and self-deception here. Look to Mercury to give you direction and clarity. We also have Venus opposing Chiron at the time of this lunation. This is an aspect that's going to highlight where we're wounded. And because Aries and Libra is the 1st and 7th house axis, me versus the other person, our relationships, so we're probably wounded in our relationships and we're needing healing at this time. It's going to come from Venus trining Jupiter. And if we're feeling lost at sea because the moon is in the sign of Pisces, which rules oceans and the seas, we should look to our earth signs for grounding. There's a very positive grand earth trine going on at this time. And this earth trine is between the grand earth trine is happening with the Sun, Pluto, and Uranus. This is a very positive aspect that's going to help us land on our feet. The moon rules the water sign, the sign of Cancer. It is in another water sign. So this is going to indicate that there might be some torrential rains or some type of crazy weather and things happening at sea. It could also translate to us feeling highly emotional and a lot of tears being shed at this time. And this is also because whenever the moon is in proximity with Saturn, it tends to make us feel emotionally restricted. We're not getting the nurturing that we want. We feel alone and depressed. The moon conjunct Saturn is a depressive aspect. This is a lunation that could give you depression, anxiety, feeling displaced, lost, and alone. It's very easy for people to feel lost and invisible with this energy. So be kind to each other. If you need some nurturing and comforting, I suggest that you call someone. And if you already have a psychologist or a psychiatrist, make sure you're sticking to your appointments and taking your medication. This eclipse is definitely going to bring new chapters and new beginnings in our life. Huge new beginnings. There's a huge possibility for stability because there's a grand earth trine in this chart. Also a kite, which is promising a lift off in whatever you initiate at this time. It's promising some type of success and stability. I've created a special reading focusing on the eclipses, so you can buy a reading for the lunar eclipse or the solar eclipse. The discounted special is for $80. It's a limited time special, so book now. Aries ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 12th house. This is where you'll have endings and culminations and perhaps some new beginnings, because whenever we make massive endings, something new has to start. The 12th house is a hidden house. This is the area that rules over our hidden enemies, and our hidden enemy could be ourselves through self-sabotaging habits. So perhaps some of you are deciding to end these self-sabotaging habits. You're doing this by going for therapy, or you're going into rehab, or you're getting some type of spiritual healing. The 12th house is the house of generational karma. Generational karma is karma that is handed down to you. You inherited from past generations. This might be the moment that you're released from your generational karma. This might be the end. This might be the lunation that will help you cut the cords, the connections to past generations, or things that you don't want to carry anymore. Things that you've decided that they are no longer your cross to bear. This could be a very intense and emotional eclipse for you. This could be the eclipse that you've been waiting for in order to feel released, because you may have been self-isolating in some way. This house also rules over hidden places like hospitals and prisons. Some of you could be concluding a prison sentence at this time. It doesn't have to be a literal, real prison. It could be for some of you, but it could also be self-imprisonment, a mental one. On the other hand, if you've been living in a foreign country for a very long time, this could be the time that you're moving back home. Others could be ending illicit affairs at this time. You could have been involved in a relationship that was really not going anywhere, and this is the time that you decide that this is the time that you decide to cut this person off and to end this relationship for good. This is an excellent time for you to get spiritual healing, to release your addiction, and to release your association of feeling trapped by your generational karma. It's time to let it go and claim your life back. And your ruling planet Mars is asking you to do exactly that. Mars is not directly aspecting this lunation, but however, Mars is making a very important contact to the lunar nodes in a square aspect. You're being pushed into taking action, and this action could have something to do with your family, your home, your ancestors. This is bringing up deep issues to do with your roots and your foundation. It could also have something to do with a parent. The parent that was the more nurturing one. It could be your mother, and for some other people, it could be the father. It could be the father that was more nurturing. So you have issues going on there. You have deep-seated issues that are being brought up as a result of this lunation, and it's time for you to deal with these things once and for all. This is a North Node eclipse. It means that it's going to bring you something positive, especially after you make massive endings and release old karma. So you need to do this to create a vacuum so that the lunar eclipse can bring you new energy, a new direction in life. Taurus, ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 11th house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. This is also where you'll have brand new beginnings, because whenever we make massive endings, something new has to start. The 11th house is a happy house. This is a house that rules over our hopes, dreams, and wishes. It is a house of wish fulfillment. This house rewards all the work that we did in the 10th house. So this means that this is where we get the promotions, the financial accolades, the recognition from our peers. This house rules over the groups that we belong to, our friends, our uncles, and our aunties, and our elder siblings. If you have some kind of karma or some kind of injustice that has been ongoing, perhaps even for decades, with a sibling, an elder sibling, or an uncle, or friend, or in the organizations or groups that you belong to, this is the time that this karma is ending. And I feel that it's going to be a positive ending for you, Taurus, simply because you're an earth sign, so you're trining the sun. You're a part of the fixed grand earth trine. So you have a say in how you direct this energy. And if you've been involved in a secret affair or a situationship with your friend, this is the time that this relationship is probably coming to an end, and or perhaps graduating this situationship into a real relationship, a 7th house type of committed relationship. And if you've been working on a business or a project for several years, this could be a culminating point where you start seeing the benefits and the profits from this business. On the other hand, if this business has not been generating any profit, this is the time that you're going to step away from this business and close it down and start working on new hopes, dreams, and wishes. Your ruling planet Venus is not aspecting this lunation. However, Venus is very comfortable and dominant in the other sign that she rules, the sign of Libra. So good things are going on in this area. This lunation is a North Node eclipse. It's going to bring you something new after you let go and release what needs to be released. It could be an old dream, a friend, or perhaps even a social media platform. Some of you could be essentially closing down your Facebook, your Instagram, or your Twitter. Let go of the old energy in this area so that the eclipse can bring in something else that is destined, something that is going to propel you into your future. Gemini, ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 10th house. This is where you'll have massive endings and perhaps some new beginnings, because whenever we end things, something new has to come. Gemini is a mutable sign, so this means that you're going to be affected by this lunation in a challenging aspect, by the square aspect. The square aspect is going to push you into taking action. And the 10th house is an angle house. Whenever an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles in our chart. This could be a life-changing lunation for you, Gemini. And especially because the 10th house is also a parental axis. It rules over the more dominant parent, either which could be the mother or the father. It just depends on the person. The 10th house is a public house. So whatever is going to happen here is going to be public. People are going to know about it. And this is because it rules over our authority figures. It rules over our public status. It also rules over the work that we do. And it also rules the government. This eclipse is asking you to let go of something when it comes to your status in society. And this could be you letting go of a job, possibly a job where you've been at for a very long time, but you don't feel recognized. Some of you might quit your job at this time. Others of you will be let go if you've been underperforming and you have to take your life in a whole new direction. If one of your parents has been ill, this is the time that they may exit. This is the time that they may transition to the other side. So some of you could lose a parent as a result of this eclipse. while others of you could be changing your status from married to divorced or married to widowed. Anything is possible. This is the end of the road on certain issues in your life, issues that are public. I'm going to encourage you to stay positive, Gemini, because this is a North Node eclipse. So if it takes something out of your life, that's simply because it was outdated and needed to go. The karma is done. The karma has been served, and now it's giving space for new karma, to come in. So this eclipse is going to give you a chance to begin anew in this area. So the letting go is going to make it difficult and make it feel heavy and maybe even depressing, but your ruling planet Mercury has a lot of power at the time of this lunation, because Mercury is the planet that is instructing Jupiter what to do. So you have a say in this situation. You are the person who's going to set the standard of what's going to happen in your life. I'm going to suggest that you watch my previous video, the Venus trine Jupiter, because this is an aspect that you're directing. You're directing this energy. You are in charge of Jupiter. So this aspect is really important for you. Cancer ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 9th house. This is where you're going to have massive endings and culminations. This is also the area where you're going to have a brand new beginning. Cancer ascendant is the sign that is always affected intensely with any lunation and all eclipses. And that is because your ruling planet, the moon, is always a big player in these events. 9th house is a lucky house. It is the house of the future. And the future is looking bright for you, Cancer. And why I'm saying that is because you're a water sign. So this means that you are trining the energy in the sign of Pisces. The trine aspect is going to make things come to you easily. The energy is going to flow harmoniously and effortlessly. On the other hand, you have a sextile aspect to the sun in Virgo. There is opportunity here for you to make things happen, and to make things happen the way you want them to happen. You have to keep in mind that the moon, your ruling planet, is receiving a little bit of a harsh aspect because it's between two planets. It's between Saturn, who's going to make you feel restricted and depressed, Neptune, who's also going to feel a loss of identity, confusion and delusion. The good thing is that the moon moves very fast, so you're going to snap out of this very quickly. Maybe not so quickly, because the moon is part of the square, because Mars is transiting your sign and making you feel a little bit energetic and perhaps a little bit aggressive and passive aggressive. A little bit aggressive, passive aggressive, and just simply annoyed. You might be feeling all sorts of emotions at the time of this lunation. The 9th house rules over the justice system. So if you've had a long-standing issue, something that has gone on for decades or several years, perhaps with immigration, getting your citizenship or a green card, perhaps you had a lawsuit that has been ongoing, this is the time that it's going to be concluded. It looks like it's going to be concluded in your favor, because you have a lot of positive energy flowing towards your 9th house. Cancer, if you've been wanting to travel overseas and you've been meeting with challenges with getting a visa or some type of paperwork that you need, this could be the end of the difficulties. Maybe there was some karma that was associated with foreign lands, and it's ending now. It's been concluded, and there will be a window open for you to get what you need in order to travel abroad. The 9th house is the house where we legalize things. So if you've been wanting to legalize anything, and you've been having challenges or you've been meeting blockages somehow, the blockages are going to disappear. They're going to be dissolved by Neptune, and the restrictions the restrictions will still be there, but as long as you follow the rules and the regulations, you're going to be successful. And I have to say this for some of you, because the 9th house is the house of gurus. If you've been blindly following a false guru, this is the time that you're going to come to your senses, stop drinking the Kool-Aid, and stop following that false guru. And some of you, this could be about religion. If you belong to a certain type of religion and it just hasn't served you or improved you in any way, this is the time that you're going to release this religion and find your own belief system, your own higher belief system. Others of you who are in university could be graduating at this time. You're getting your degree and your new life is beginning. Your future, this is your future. Leo, ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 8th house. This is where you're going to have massive endings and culminations. This is also the house where you're going to have brand new beginnings, because whenever we make endings, there has to be something new that comes in. The 8th house is a complicated house. This is the house of secrets, other people's secrets, and sometimes even secrets that we keep from ourselves. This is the house that rules over other people's money. It's the house of unearned income, shared resources, taxes, death, and transformation. This is the house where we bond on a deep level with another person, like moving in with a person and sharing resources and connecting on a deep soul level. Your ruling planet, the sun, is always involved in any lunar event. And you're going to be feeling this quite intensely because you're being aspected by this lunation in a rather challenging aspect. You're receiving an opposition from the sun and a wide opposition from Neptune. Both of these are energies that make you feel like you're disappearing with the opposition from Neptune, and you're feeling restrictions. You're receiving restrictions from others, and the others being your partners. So you have this opposing energy from other people, which is making you feel sensitive and uncomfortable. The 8th house is another karmic house. There's a lot of karma that is stored here. Leo, if you owe any debts, this is the time that these debts could be repaid. Debts like a mortgage, a car loan, or some other type of spiritual karmic debts. This is the time that they're going to be released. On a lighter note, if you've been paying on a mortgage for a very long time, this is the time that you'll be making your final payment, released from this debt. If you've been involved in a long-term relationship, this is the time that you may decide to take this relationship to the next level. Maybe you're going to decide to move in with each other and share resources and bond on a deeper soul level. This is also a time of heightened sexual activity in your relationship. There will be a lot of intensity. And on a psychological level, if you've been dealing with mental health problems, this could be the time that you're finally feeling a little bit better. The medication is working. And for other people whose relationship has not been going well, this could be the time that you're dissolving assets and splitting assets. You're finalizing your divorce. Virgo, ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in the 7th house. This is where you're going to have massive endings and culminations and a lot of and brand new beginnings, because whenever we end something, something new has to start. The 7th house is an angle house, and whenever an angle house is activated, it activates your entire chart. This lunation could absolutely change your life. It could change how others see you. It could change your relationships. It could change your home area. It could change your job area. Virgo, if you've been involved in a long-term relationship or partnership, business partnership that has not been working, this lunation is going to end your marriage, your business partnership or relationship. This is not going to come as a surprise. This is something that you've seen coming. This is something that has built up and is now culminating into an ending. And after this ending happens, it's going to create a space, a vacuum that is going to later on be filled, because this is a North Node lunar eclipse. It's going to bring something. It promises a new beginning. It promises an ending and a new beginning. Some of you who have been dating for a long time, been in a long-term relationship, are going to decide to get married. And this is going to be a very karmic type of relationship. The North Node is currently transiting your 8th house and is going to enter your 7th house, bringing karmic relationships and karmic business partnerships. So perhaps you have to end certain things in order to allow this positive energy to come in later on and solidify relationships, because you also have Saturn transiting this same house, asking you to get serious and real about your connections or business interactions that you have with other people, your long-term relationships. You're looking at longevity here. Your partner wants a commitment. This is a very positive eclipse for people who've been wanting to get out of a bad marriage, a marriage that is not going anywhere. Perhaps you've been staying in this marriage for the sake of the kids. It's time to stop making that excuse and start living for you, for your happiness. I'm sure your children also want to see you happy. If you're happy, you're a better parent. Your ruling planet Mercury has a lot of power at the time of this lunation because Mercury is currently transiting your sign. She rules your sign. So you're feeling highly empowered at the time of this lunation. And your planet is the planet that is in charge of the ruler of this lunation, Jupiter, because Jupiter is currently transiting your sister sign, the sign of Gemini. And there is a very positive aspect that is happening with Venus at the time of this lunation. So I suggest that you go and watch my previous video on Venus trine Jupiter, and it's going to help you put everything together. Libra ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 6th house. This is where you're going to have culminations and endings and a brand new beginning. Because whenever we make endings, something new has to start. The 6th house is the house that rules over our daily routine, our diet, our exercise regimen. It rules over our pets. We take care of our pets on a daily basis. It also rules over the work that we do and our co-workers. This is the house that rules over our known enemies, and our known enemies could be diseases or the people that we work with or our employer. So if you were involved in a lawsuit against your employer, this could be the time that this lawsuit is concluding. For some of you, if you've been on treatment for a very long time, this could be the time that you're seeing the results of the medication or treatment that you've been taking. Others of you could be deciding to stop your bad habits like smoking, drinking, or your bad eating habits. If you've been working at a job for a very long time and you feel underappreciated, you're not seeing any possibility of growth working for this company, this could be the time that you're going to decide to quit this job and look for new employment. And some of you who've been underperforming at your job, this could be the end of your job. If your pet has been ill or the pet is just older, this could be the time that the pet transitions. And if you don't have a pet, this could be the time that you decide to go and adopt a pet. They say that the 6th house is the house of debt. So if you've been paying on a debt for a very long time, this could be the time that you're making your last payment and you're becoming debt-free. And for some of you who have been battling a disease for a very long time, perhaps something like cancer or some other chronic type of disease, this could be the time that you're finally feeling much better, or you're going into remission. Your ruling planet Venus is not aspecting this lunation. However, Venus is aspecting the ruler of this lunation, Jupiter. They're involved in a trine aspect. First of all, you have Venus transiting your sign. Venus is back home in a sign that she rules. You're feeling charming, you're feeling beautiful, and other people are seeing you in that way. This is a very positive transit that we all look forward to, having our ruling planet come back home, especially Venus, which brings blessings and goodies. So whatever is happening at the time of this lunation, you have this positive energy, a beautiful trine aspect with Jupiter. I'm going to suggest that you go and listen to my video on the Venus trine Jupiter transit. This is a very special transit that happens once in 12 years in these signs. It's highly beneficial for you, Libra. Libra has Venus, Lilith, and Juno transiting their sign, and there's some really positive aspects going on at the time of this lunar eclipse. And on top of it, you have the lucky fixed star Spica at around 24 degrees of your sign. Your ruling planet is eventually going to conjunct this spot around the 21st of September. Go and watch my video. All the things I say on the video are valid. It's not clickbait. Scorpio ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 5th house. This is where you're going to have massive endings and culminations. This is also where you're going to have brand new beginnings. Because whenever we end something, something new has to start. The 5th house is a lucky house. As a Scorpio rising, I love to see eclipses in this house because this is the house of good luck. Good luck from a past life that is available to us when activated in this lifetime. We don't have to go looking around for this good luck. It just comes to us naturally. So that's very positive. And the other reason why I feel this transit is going to be positive for us is because we trine the sign of Pisces. So this is positive energy that makes things happen easily and effortlessly. On the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo, which we sextile. So this is bringing opportunities for us to advance our wishes. The 5th house rules over creativity. If you've been wanting to get pregnant and you couldn't get pregnant, this could be the moment that you get your positive pregnancy test. And for those that are pregnant, it's very likely you're going to go into labor sometime around the time of this lunation. The moon is full, so it's going to push you into labor. And you're going to have a new beginning because you're going to have this brand new bundle of joy in your hands, in your life. The fifth house rules over creativity and our children being our greatest creation. It rules our talents, talents that we can use to start a small business to earn money. This is a lucky house which can also bring winnings from speculation, like in the stocks or in gambling. Not saying that you go and gamble away all your money, but there is a lucky window that is open here. This is also the house of true romance. So it's very likely that some of you could be meeting somebody new, somebody that is fated, somebody who you probably met in a past life. Others of you could be ending a relationship, a romantic relationship that has really reached its end. The karma is done. It's time to move on. It's going to end on a peaceful note. The fifth house also rules over vacations and entertainment. So on a lighter note, perhaps if you've been away on a vacation, this could be the time that you're deciding to come back home. If you have a small business that has not brought in a profit, this could be the time that you decide to close this business down. And for others who have the correct karma in their chart, this could be the time that their business is actually bringing in money and you're feeling like you've accomplished something. And for some of you that have had a bad relationship with your children or a romantic partner, this could be the time that the argument comes to a head and you resolve that dispute. Ruling planet Mars is currently transiting the sign of Cancer. This is positive because you're trying the sign of Cancer. This is another area of really positive things coming your way, Scorpio. And Mars is transiting the ninth house, the house of your future. Mars is going to stay in this sign for about 8 months. There's a lot that's going on here. If some of you have a lawsuit that's ongoing, Mars is trying to accomplish and close something in this area. Mars is also square the karmic nodes, so you're essentially being pushed into taking some action. Perhaps if you have not initiated that lawsuit, this is the time for you to initiate that lawsuit. Pluto, your other ruling planet, is in conversation with this eclipse. There is a wide sextile and trine aspect. Pluto is part of the grand earth trine that's going on between the Sun, Uranus, and of course Pluto itself. So there's a lot of grounding and positive energy at the time of this lunar eclipse. I really feel that Scorpio risings are going to have a brand new beginning, a new life. Sagittarius, ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your fourth house. This is where you'll have culminations and endings. And also brand new beginnings, because whenever we end something, something new has to start. The fourth house is an angle house. So when an angle house is activated, it activates all the other angles in your chart. This means that this lunation could absolutely change your life. It will have the tables turn. Whatever is going to end in your fourth house is going to change how other people see you, your ascendant. It's going to change your work. It's going to change the work that you do because of the opposition from the fourth house. It's also going to change your relationships because it's a square aspect from this lunation. This could be a challenging lunar eclipse for you, Sagittarius, because of the activation of the angles. You are a mutable sign, so you're going to be pushed into taking action. It's not all bad. Your ruling planet Jupiter is having a very positive aspect with Venus. If you have not watched my video on the Venus trine Jupiter aspect, I suggest that you go and watch that video. It's going to help you put everything together. The fourth house is the IC. It is the most sensitive point in the zodiac, and this is why this lunation is going to be really personal and emotional for you, Sagittarius, making you feel restricted when it comes to your home, your mother, your homeland, your emotions, your deep resentments. There's something really personal going on in the home area. There's some really deep-seated issues in this area, some resentments towards your ancestry, your mother, or your homeland. Some karma here is being released. It's coming to an end. Some of you could be moving homes at this time, and if you've been living in a foreign country, you could possibly be returning home. And for others who've just had it with where they live, they could be deciding to move to a foreign country at this time. The fourth house is another house of endings, and this eclipse is an ending eclipse. It's an eclipse of releasing old karma. Perhaps one of your parents is going to be transitioning at this time, because the fourth house rules over the more nurturing parent, which could be your mother or your father. It just all depends. This eclipse is releasing old karmic baggage. And these things that are ending are not new things. They're old issues that could have felt like a burden on you, and they're being released at this time. Your ruling planet Jupiter is in detriment in the sign of Gemini. So you're probably overwhelmed with a lot of information and a lot of small details that you don't know exactly what to do with, because this is not what you're used to doing. You're used to looking at the bigger picture and not stuck in the details. So I'm going to suggest that you look to what Mercury is doing in the sign of Virgo, because she's dominant there. The planet that is hosting you in her house. Mercury is essentially your landlord. So look to your landlord, the owner of the house, to give you direction of how to handle this energy and which way to go. Mercury is transiting the 10th house, your public area, the area that rules your status in society, the government, the authority figures. You may have to look to those people to give you direction. Capricorn ascendant, sun or moon. This lunation is happening in your 3rd house. This is where you'll have massive endings and culminations, and perhaps a new beginning, because whenever we end something, something new has to come in to replace it. This lunation is probably going to be a little bit easier on you, and this is because you're going to trine and sextile this lunation. You're going to have the positive energy of things happening easily and effortlessly, and a whole bunch of opportunities coming to you because of the sextile aspect. And you're also part of the grand earth trine that is happening at the time of this lunation. So there's a lot of positive and grounding energy available to you. 3rd house rules over our immediate environment. It rules over our siblings. It rules over our neighbors. It rules over the mind, our thought process, our learning ability, and our small gadgets like our phone and our computers. So Capricorn, if there's been some mystery or something going on with your sibling or your neighbors, the mystery is going to be resolved, and ending the mystery that surrounded your siblings or your neighbor. And on a mental level, if you've been dealing with mental illness, this could be the time that you're really feeling the effects, the positive effects of your new medication is finally working, and you're finally feeling better. And if you've been learning a new language that has been a bit challenging for you, this could be the time that you have mastered this new language and you're now ready to probably start a new job that involves translating. If you're one of those Capricorns that has been immersed in writing a book for over a decade or so, this could be the time that you're concluding the writing. You're ready to edit your book or perhaps even publish it. And for some of you who are tired of your immediate environment, this could be you wanting, or this could be you separating from that immediate environment, as in you're going to move to a whole new neighborhood and have a new beginning in a new neighborhood. For others who've been learning a brand new skill, this could be the time that you're concluding these lessons and you're ready to start a new job using these brand new skills. Others, this could be an ending of a way of thinking. Perhaps you have a negative way of thinking or looking at yourself because of something that may have happened with your siblings, or maybe that's just how you were brought up. This is a time that you're going to decide to release this way of thinking about yourself. Negative self-talk is going to be released at this time. Your ruling planet Saturn is a part of this lunation, so you're very involved here, and this is because you are transiting the sign of the lunar eclipse. You are conjunct the moon. You are influencing this lunar eclipse. You're bringing restriction to this lunar eclipse. With the moon next to Saturn, it could be a depressing feeling, but this feeling is not a feeling that's going to last for a long time, simply because of all the other positive aspects that I spoke about earlier. This is going to be a really positive lunar eclipse for you, Capricorn. It just all depends on how this eclipse is aspecting your other planets. There will be a new beginning in this area, and there'll be new life pumped into your 3rd house. Perhaps a new beginning with your siblings, a new beginning in a new neighborhood, a new beginning in your way of thinking and self-talk. Aquarius ascendant, sun or moon. The lunar eclipse is happening in your 2nd house. This is where you'll have massive endings and culminations. This is also the house where you're going to have some brand new beginnings, because whenever we end something, something else has to start. The 2nd house is the house that rules over our earning ability. How are you making a living? How are you earning money? And how do you feel about yourself? If you're making money, you're going to feel good about yourself. If you're not making money, you're not going to feel good about yourself. It's going to affect your self-esteem negatively. Fortunately, this lunar eclipse is also bringing something new, but you have to end something in this area. This could be a low self-esteem, or it could be the way you earn your living. This eclipse is going to bring you another way of making your money, especially if you've been feeling undervalued at your place of work. If your business has not been making a profit, this is time for you to release this. The second house is also the house of the things that we love and value, the things that we keep. It's a house where we hoard things also. So it's going to ask you to look around and see, what are you holding on to that has no use and is not doing anything for your future. This eclipse is going to release things which are no longer valuable and useless. The second house rules over the family that we make with another person, not the family that we're born into. And this family that we make is with a spouse, a long-term lover, and the friends that we have in our life for a long time, that they begin to feel like family. So if there's some issues that have been going on there, some negative karma that has evolved over the years in the family that you've created, this is the time that you're going to release somebody out of this family circle. And since the North Node is not yet transiting the sign of Pisces, it could be that whatever is new, you're going to realize, or it's going to come in at around the time when the North Node moves into the sign of Pisces in January. You may have to be doing the letting go now, and later on the new energy, the new karma is going to come in when the North Node finally enters the sign of Pisces. So this could spell like some financial losses for some people, or a job loss. And some of you will lose some valued possessions. If you've been wanting to lose weight and change your diet, you could lose some of your bad eating habits, because this area is asking you to let go of something. So let go of the junk food, the food that does not bring nutrients or good health to your body. Time to let that go. And by letting that go, you have a new beginning with your health. Your ruling planet Uranus is aspecting this lunation with a trine and sextile aspect. These are positive energies which are going to make certain things in your life happen easily and harmoniously. And it's also going to bring you opportunities for you to make certain things happen. And if you're feeling a little bit out of sorts, lost and ungrounded, the grand earth trine that your ruling planet Uranus is involved in is going to help you feel grounded. So hang on to this energy. And Uranus is currently transiting your home area. So perhaps there's something that is going to flow easily. Perhaps there's something that is going to flow easily and happen for you in that area. So if you've been looking for a home, a place to live, this could be the lunar eclipse that brings in that home. Just keep in mind that with your ruling planet Uranus in the 4th house is going to make you move probably several times over the years, simply because that's the nature of Uranus. So nothing is going to stay permanent in this area, but for the moment you're going to feel grounded. Your other ruling planet Saturn is also aspecting this lunation. This is because Saturn is opposing the Sun at the time of this lunation. So you're going to have other people oppose you, or perhaps a partner like a spouse or a long-term relationship partner, or perhaps even a business partner, because the Sun rules your descendant. Your descendant ruler is receiving tough and opposing energy. So you may have to meet others halfway in order to make things happen. And you have to follow the rules and the regulations. Aquarius, there's a grand air trine that is happening also between Venus, Jupiter, and your placements in Aquarius. This is other positive energy that is happening at the time of this lunar eclipse. If you have not watched my video on the Venus-Jupiter trine aspect that is embedded into this lunar eclipse, I suggest that you go and watch that video, because there's a lot of positivity, a lot of layers in this lunar eclipse. A lot is unfolding. Pisces ascendant Sun or Moon. This is your lunar eclipse. You've been waiting for this lunar eclipse for 18.5 years to change the direction of your life, to renew you. This is time for you to put you first. Whenever there's an eclipse in your first house, it is about you. It's about how other people see you, how you want other people to see you. The first house is the ascendant, making this an angle house. Whenever you have an angle activation, it activates all the other angles in your chart. Your life is up for change in every area. You're going to change personally. How other people see you. Opposite sign, the descendant. How other people see you, the public sees you, could change. Your work could change. That will also affect your home area. Your most sensitive point in the zodiac is going through some major transformation and change at this time. Pisces, this is a partial lunar eclipse. You're still working with the energy in your 12th house where the North Node is currently transiting. So you have a lot of karmic endings or even obligations and healing and releasing that is happening at the same time. So you have to release certain things about your identity, the things you associate with, and also your 12th house area of generational karma, things that you're holding on to that are no longer your crosses to bear, because generational karma is karma that we earn from a past life because of other people, other generations, past generations. It's not your cross to bear in this lifetime anymore. It's time for you to conclude the healing that has been going on for decades. Pay whatever karmas that you owe other people. Heavy negative karma that you've been experiencing could be released at this time. Some of you could be changing your name because you're getting married. You're going to take on your spouse's last name. Others of you could have a sex change at this time, therefore leaving your old identity and assuming a new identity, a whole brand new life, a whole brand new you. Some of you who have been in a relationship that has not been working for a while, you could be breaking free, leaving that relationship and wanting to define yourself in a different way, attracting a whole totally brand new type of partner. North Node is going to move into your sign sometime next year in January. I'm going to advise you to take this moment, to take this transit, the almost 2-year transit, to take care of yourself and to always put yourself first. It's time for you to be somewhat selfish. And when you put yourself first, that is how you're going to have success in your life, because you're following the direction of the North Node to put yourself first. Ruling planet Jupiter is not aspecting this lunation. However, Jupiter is involved in a very positive conversation with Venus. They're involved in a trine aspect, which is very beneficial, especially since your ruling planet is in detriment in the sign of Gemini and cannot really aspect this lunation in a very positive way. Mercury is much more empowered at the time of this lunation because Mercury is the planet that is hosting your ruling planet. So you have to look to Mercury, who's dominant in the sign of Virgo, your partnership area. So it's kind of saying you have to look towards your partner to give you direction or advice as to how you should direct this energy of the lunar eclipse in your sign. So your partner's input is going to be very valuable and important at this time. Look to them for direction and wisdom. If you've not watched my video on the Venus-Jupiter trine, I'm going to suggest that you go and watch that video because I go into depth explaining how this aspect is going to affect you according to your sign. And this is really important for you. And this is really important to you because you are Jupiter and you are the planet that's being aspected in a very positive way. And this energy is embedded into this eclipse. Your other ruling planet Neptune is currently transiting your sign and is conjunct this lunation. So you're feeling very sensitive and emotional with the moon there, and you're feeling perhaps some loss of identity. You just don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know where to belong. This confusion might stay on for a little while until the North Node moves into your sign. Pisces, this lunation is absolutely going to change your life. It's going to release old and stuck karma to pave the way for a new beginning in your life, a new you. You're going to define who you are. I hope you've been using the energy of Saturn in your sign, transiting your ascendant, to restrict your diet or to restrict your behavior or your diet in some way, or to be committed to working out. A few of the Pisces ascendants that I know who are my clients or friends have lost massive weight with Saturn transiting their ascendant. So this is another way that you could use this energy instead of feeling so limited and restricted. Pisces ascendant moon or stelliums in Pisces are the people who should be getting some professional astrological guidance. Book me now.